Sagittarius 11, the lamp of physical enlightenment at the left temple. Very obscure image. Let's look at it. The lamp. Well, light, lamps, that suggests illumination. And what we're saying here is physical enlightenment. So we're saying, well, there's that spiritual illumination metaphor, and then there's the physical reality of not falling over things in the dark because you've got a light, electricity and candles and stuff. At the left temple, the left suggests intuitive, more spiritual rather than more worldly, and temple certainly underscores this idea of this being a spiritual wisdom. And in a sense, the earth plane itself is like a laboratory and a temple for the soul. Laboratories are used to experiment in and discover knowledge, and temples are used actually for the same purpose, to discover the knowledge of God. When it is necessary to feel something in order to understand it, you need to go where that feeling is held precious and sacred and built up by other people feeling it at the same time. And that's what a temple does. It stores spiritual atmosphere. You may not be a Christian, but you can walk into a church and feel something has been going on here. Something sacred. Now, if you had that feeling on a football field when you went to watch your favourite team playing, you'd be disappointed. That's not what you want. You want aggression and excitement and passionate fighting atmosphere, for that game. But the temple gives you a different atmosphere. So you have to actually think about creating the atmosphere of your life and grounding it somewhere physical. So those of us who meditate, we typically find the possibility of making a room available for meditation, or at least a corner within that room, so that there's a particular physical space that holds the atmosphere of meditation. Whereas you wouldn't meditate in the kitchen, not really, not if you had another room, because the kitchen is all to do with workaday ordinariness, getting the job done. And the meditation needs are different from that. So part of what we're doing here is associating atmospheres with physical locations. But there's more. The typical seeker is either extraordinarily intuitive and have insights into the nature of reality which are different from how we're taught physical reality is. And this intuitive approach is the main reason why people look into their spiritual nature. And it's the main reason why there are plenty more women on workshops to discover spiritual secrets than men. It's because women are more readily able to trust their intuition. They need to, because they have babies, and babies can't talk about what their needs are. So if women do not develop intuition, then they're not going to be able to communicate so easily with the baby. I should think. I'm just a speculative idea. Now, it's not a woman-man thing, really, but a huge percentage of the people who are on the sort of highly developed spiritual path are very intelligent. This is really noticeable. I'm not talking about blind followers of a religion. They may not be. But I'm talking about people who are really seeking. If you go to most spiritual events, most workshops, you'll find that the congregation there, the people there are much more intelligent than average. So we've got these two highly developed qualities of intuition and intelligence. However, what this particular degree is teaching us is another dimension, which is physicality, embodiment. This is not much favoured, and yet it should be. It's necessary. We have the twin forces of the left and the right brain with our intelligence and our intuition. When I say intelligence, in that case, I meant rationality. Intuition is a form of intelligence, of course. And yet, there's a third aspect that we need to consider, and that's to make it physical. So on the one level, lighting a candle when it gets to be dark, or turning on the electricity, that really simple level of keeping yourself engaged with the physical world. That's what this title means, at least. And yet we can look more deeply on a more subtle level. You'll find that there's a physical aspect to every spiritual practice, and in fact every worldly practice too. Great sportsmen have a very disciplined approach to their body, and this discipline is a state of mind. If you notice any sportsman get ready for their event, they're just aligning everything so that the mind and the physical body and their concentration, particularly their attention, are all clearly focused on the purpose of their moment. Now, we can do this on the spiritual level. In fact, if we don't do this on the spiritual level, then we're not really doing it properly. We can understand that every spiritual practice has a physical component. If you go to church and you pray, and it doesn't make any difference to how your physical body is, on a subtle level, I'm talking about that difference between being agitated and relaxed. There's a physical feeling. And if you're agitated and you know, not rested and you're restless, then typically your mind is doing crazy things. Or if you're just dreamy, then you're daydreaming, your intuition is taken over. But there's a state of being where you're in alert, repose. You're ready to act, but you're not acting. You're not restless, you're calm and composed, just aware. And in fact, awareness the optimization of awareness depends upon having that state. And I've studied this in Sufism to some depth. We're guided in Sufism towards a practice called wazifa, or the beautiful names of God. And in Christianity, the equivalent would be the saints. And in other religions, they've got different, like paganism would be trees or animals, that a certain consciousness associated with a certain physical form, such as a mantra or a tree or an animal, something which is physical. And when you actually focus on that physical thing, so in my case, if I say Ya Haq or Ya Hay or Ya Rahman, I'm saying wazifas, and in each case I've got a particular body state that I revisit when I say the practice. And if I don't say the practice with that body state, then I'm not doing the practice. So I could pretend, in a sense, that I'm doing the spiritual practice, but I'm not, because the physical body state is not aligned. And the teaching then comes clear that when the heart and the mind and the physical body find alignment, then we're in our heightened state of beingness. And we can also say, unless these states of alignment exist, we are not. So the teaching really is to make sure that when you are doing your spiritual practice, you've got the physical state of it, but also when you're actually doing your worldly practice, when you're doing the dishes, when you're driving to work, when you're doing worldly things, you're also in that state of concentration appropriate to the task. Now, if you're not in that state of concentration appropriate to the task, you're going to break crockery, you're going to break yourself in your car, you're going to break things, you're going to pay a price. You have to concentrate on the world to attain worldly consciousness, and you have to concentrate on the spiritual aspect to attain spiritual consciousness. And each has a body state. And until you've learned that body state, you just haven't learned it. You haven't learned the practice. So listen to your body. Notice, are you breathing more quickly? Are you sweating? Are you restless, agitated? Are you calm and alert at the same time? Notice your body state more often until you can actually get the sense of being one with that awareness. We're in a physical body. There must be a reason for that. And there is a reason. The physical body will speak to us of our total state of being. If we listen, we can hear what condition we're in by noticing how the body is feeling. And in the extreme case, of course, the doctor will say, look, if you don't give up drinking, you're going to die. And that takes a doctor to tell you that, whereas perhaps you should have known already, because your physical body reacts against alcohol or whatever it is, more food if you're eating too much or whatever it is for you. But your physical body is telling you that, no, I don't want that, long before the doctor does. So we're being asked to find that information from within the physical body.